Welcome to the Man Cave Podcast with Dan Casper.
Local Sports Roundup brought to you by Carpet City Flooring Center. Let's start off actually a little Blugolds.
Yes.
Friday night at the Sonnentag, volleyball. I know you were there watching it. Down goes number one. Blugolds, a top 25 team, taking down number one Whitewater. And it went down to the final set.
Yes,
right?
It did. It was, first off, you had the dedication of the court, which was just an awesome moment there. So you have that going on. So there's a lot of emotion. You have the stands, over 2,000 fans in there, and I think it's the largest crowd I've been a part of in there, and it was just loudest, and they were into it, and it was great. And then that first set, they fall behind in that first set, and it looks like Whitewater's going to be Whitewater, number one team in the nation. And then all of a sudden the Blugolds just rally, and they win that first set. And that point when they won that first set, that crowd went nuts. And then they just roll it into the second set and are looking good. They're up 2-0, and you're like, okay. And they're up in the third set. And then Whitewater flips the switch back on. And Whitewater makes the comeback and gets that set there. So then, they cut it to, and then they win the next one, and then you go to a fifth. And that's where it's like a wild card, because you never know how teams are going to respond with their back to the wall, especially if you're the Blugolds. When you had a 2-0 lead against the number one team, it's like, okay, have they figured it out? And then they just come out and score, I think it was 5 straight points. And it's like, okay, they were in control. Whitewater made a little bit of a run, but I think once they got out to that lead, it's so hard when you know that when you're that other team and you have to outscore your opponent 15-10.
Yeah.
In those, and it had been so close the whole time. And then when they got that final point, just the crowd just going nuts. It was really what college sports are all about, and just a great atmosphere, and so fun to see Kim Woody and that team knock off the top team. Obviously, they've won national championships, so there's an expectation there. But I feel like this has to be one of those wins that's right up there with one of their biggest wins.
Absolutely. So, that was a huge win for them. And then Saturday, Bluegold football, first time since 2007, starting off 3-0. And, I mean, offensively, defensively, it seems like a lot of things are going right for Bluegold football right now.
I mean, if you're Rob Erickson, you're in year 3 of your plan, and this is when you really have a lot of your own pieces are there. I know it's a little different now in college football because you can transfer a lot easier but it's still, you have your pieces that have built up, and so far it has looked really good. I mean, everything has worked off to a T. I'm sure Rob won't. He's always going to have his as a coach. Right. He knows the stuff they need to work on, but to do this the first time, and I haven't seen it.
I was going to say, I was in college last time.
Yep. I was
UW-Eau
still
Claire.
3 years before I was even here that they did that. So to come out 3-0 to start the season, and then you get a week off before you face, everything's a rival game in the WIC, but your closest rival, the I-94 rivalry coming.
And it's homecoming.
Yeah, and it's the 100th homecoming. It is built up to be a really fun week next week when they face off against Stout.
I mean, you look at this team, they open up with a 29-7 victory over Carroll. They put up 35 against Kenyon College in Ohio, only allow 6. They haven't allowed any double-digit scoring yet. Martin Luther, they take down 42-6, and Martin Luther was putting up 30, 40 points a game too. So
this is as much complementary, we were just talking about that, as complementary football is where you're not leaning on one side or the other. The offense is putting it up, but the defense is putting them in the position. And that, as a coaching staff, is what you've really got to be happy about seeing so far. And obviously things ramp up now that conference play, the best football conference in Division III.
Easily.
Easily. Week in and week out, it's going to be a battle. So things ramp up. It's almost like this was the regular season. Now you ramp up. Once you're in conference play, it's almost like playoff games every week. I mean,
you look at the schedule right now. You got Stout that's, receiving votes, but La Crosse is a top 10. Oshkosh is a top 20. UW Falls top 15. Whitewater with a huge win over the weekend. They're just outside top 15. Platteville's a top 10. So
you're when the majority of your conference is ranked, and then the teams that aren't ranked are ones that look like they're starting to get on the rise after some rough and lean years. It is really, I think, going to make for some just exciting games in the conference this year.
I agree. And then high school football on Friday, because Friday night was busy with volleyball, and then we had the crosstown rival of Memorial and North, which first time, not at Carson Park over there. And I know JD was over there, but what a finish to that game, and North just squeaking out the W.
Yeah, down to the wire, what you would love for a crosstown rivalry game, and maybe probably the most exciting rivalry game that I can remember in my time here in Eau Claire. I mean, right down to it, an onside kick for Memorial to give themselves a chance there in the final drive, a goal line stand that'll be talked about for a long time, a long time, just what you would want from a rivalry game. And, yeah, I mean, hats off to both sides who put it all out there for that whole game and really made an entertaining contest for the fans to watch. And, North able to prevail, gets their second straight win, and that's a big one for them.
It is. And now, I mean, that wrapped up week 5, so, I mean, now you're kind of talking about playoff stuff for some teams, right?
Oh, we are,
going forward in that.
Yeah, once we move into week 6, I mean, we're there. We're in that home stretch, those final couple of games before the playoffs. So a lot of these teams have to, some of them have clinched already.
Yeah.
Getting getting that 5th win will almost likely get you in no matter what. And then you've got teams that are going to be battling to be right on that line. And I think, North's got to be one of those teams that's got to win, not win out, but win pretty much the rest of their games, except maybe one they can get away with and get a chance to qualify. So they've got a little momentum going for them. And then we had the 8 player, not championship game, but man, Gilman showing that they're number 1 team, battling back from behind against McDonald for 2 teams that hopefully we get a chance to either see each other again in the playoffs or have a chance to make runs for that 8-player title. So that one lived up to the hype as well.
Yeah, looking at some other results here too. I mean, Altoona picked up a win.
Yeah, and had their military appreciation.
Yep.
So they're kind of gaining some momentum here as they'll head to Amory on Saturday, an afternoon game there. So battle of the uppercase A's, Altoona versus Amory there.
Menominee also picked up a win. Hudson, a big win against Spash, would you say, too?
That's huge. I think Hudson's one of those teams where you weren't sure where quite they were, but then when they knocked off New Richmond the week before, you're like, okay, this is a really good team. Now, then it's like, okay, it's the prove-it game. And so they go over to Spash, and they definitely proved it. And I think that's a team that's just been getting better and better, like a snowball going downhill each week. I saw them early in the season taking on Memorial, and they were making some mistakes that will happen early in the season, but I think they've really corrected that. And obviously with wins over New Richmond and Spash in back-to-back weeks. Yeah. And then, that to me, they got River Falls, which has been playing really good football this week. And then, so that's going to be a good matchup. And then you have New Richmond and Rice Lake, who Rice Lake keeps on rolling.
Yep.
That team is just fun to watch, and just they find a way. So that's another big matchup there, too.
Some other, just run through some scores here. Elk Mound took down Osseo Fairchild. Mondovi took down Stanley Boyd. Fall Creek shutting out Neilsville Grant. Oliva Strum shutting out Augusta. As well, Boyceville shutting out Clear Lake.
Boyceville just staying undefeated.
Yep. Glenwood City also shutting down Colfax, too. So, I mean, there's some games, too, where a lot of those really good teams showcased why they were really good.
Yeah, Tech Warehouse, we got a win over Webster. They stay undefeated, and they got a big game against Grantsburg coming up on Friday. Regis earlier in the week on Thursday got the win over Durand, Arkansas, with them and now Mondovi tied for the top, and I think they play in the next couple weeks here coming up. So, yeah, there's some big games coming up this weekend, too. I mean, Memorial will be at Menominee for Menominee's homecoming, and that'll be a big Memorial's try. I mean, they're one of those teams that's just right there. They've been right there in a lot of these games, and they're going to break through. And I think those kids, they just bounce back, and they've been very resilient. So we'll see what they do against the Menominee team that was playing very well last week as well. And then a big one that we're looking at is a CFC versus Pep and Alma. CFC, I believe, just gave up their first points of the season.
Wow.
So they've been running pretty well. So they'll be at Pep and Alma, which is always one of those teams that's battling. So that'll be a great Dairyland matchup there. So some good ones coming up. And again, I feel bad if I've forgotten any ones that are going on.
Now, man, so.
Yeah, it's a fun time of the season, but yeah, it's time for a lot of these teams to try to separate or at least get in the contention for playoffs.
Right. So elsewhere, just to kind of wrap it up, I mean, for the local side of things, I know we got high school volleyball going on too. I think you were even watching some earlier last week and such, maybe checking out some volleyball. And that.
Yes, yeah. I mean, we Regis battled Elk Mound, and came back from after losing the first set. I mean, we got so many ranked teams in this area right now. Stanley Boyd's ranked, Barron's ranked, McDonald's ranked, and the Manual, the defending champs, getting their first home game as their first ever team title. So, yeah, I mean, they had the Diocese meet, which had McDonald over the weekend, so a lot of good teams were battling off there. But yeah, just from the early season sample that I've seen, it's not really that early. We're getting a little more in towards the middle, but there's some really good teams.
How about we got to be getting close to golf wrapping up here,
yes,
right?
So they got conference championships. I know the Clover Croy will be playing theirs on Thursday at Halley. BRC, I'm gonna guess, is probably, I think they're at Troy Byrne.
Okay.
So, and then I think we'll be getting to regionals are next week.
Okay.
So I remember looking into that. So we're almost there, and then state's only about 2.5, 3 weeks away.
Man.
So they're hoping that the weather holds on, as we all.
Yep.
Anybody who golfs is hoping the weather holds on for another month or so.
Yep, exactly. All right, good stuff. JC and EC, Justus Cleveland, sports director extraordinaire for WEAU 13 News for our local sports roundup.